We know we're heading into the final lap of Beg, Borrow, Steal, and a new save is just around the corner, but when offers like this come in, it's pretty tempting to say yes. However, managing Borussia Dortmund is for another time. We are still in charge of Europa, and how long this series goes on for really depends on how far we can go in Europe. We're in the last 16. We've played the first leg against Atalanta. Tonight we're going to play the second leg in Bergamo. We are 2-0 up from the first leg. Let's see how far we can take this tiny Spanish club. So we've got the luxury of a fully fit squad to choose from. We do have a couple of players that are on yellow cards. Were they to pick up a booking tonight and we were to squeak past Atalanta and get into the last 8, we've got a couple of players that could be suspended. Were they to get a yellow card tonight? At the culmination of this game, if we have got through, we've got the draw for both the quarterfinals and the semi-finals as well. But there's work to do against Atalanta first. We've got a familiar look about our team today. We have settled in to playing Sergi Rassanias as a left-back now. He's played virtually all of the 6 seasons that he's been with us over as a right-back, and he is right-footed. But such has been our inability to find a left-back of any ability whatsoever, it's actually Rassanias that's going to get the nod ahead of Ismail Bora. We've also got a very familiar look about our midfield now. I think this is our strongest form. Bad news for Kieran Murray means that he has to sit it out on the bench. And brace yourselves, our old mate Lander is not even getting in the matchday squad for tonight. Don't worry. Were we to go on and make a quarter-final or a semi-final, sentiment would take precedence over picking the strongest lineup, I'm sure. But for a last 16 tie, I think we're going to go with who our strongest players are. So we've got Pacheco, Diego Rosa, Milanese and Marcos Cordoba, who has perhaps not had as good a season again this campaign as he did during our first season in La Liga, but he is faring moderately better than he did last season, and we need a big performance from him tonight, just like we got in the first leg. The only other big call we're making is up front, where rather than Alessandro Rossi, who has been a little bit disappointing of late, we are going back with 35-year-old Paulo Dybala. He's got a number of assists for us this campaign, but he's only scored twice in the league. Both of those were penalties, having been so prolific for us in pre-season. I thought we were going to get a great campaign out of him, and I was a little off with my predictions there, but you never know, tonight could be the night that he starts banging in goals for us as we go out against Atalanta and try and get into the Europa League quarter-final stage. So I am hoping for quite an uneventful game this evening. I don't want any defensive howlers. I don't want Barrosi doing any of those Barrosi things that he's done in the past. I'll take 0-0 at half-time. Maybe we score right at the beginning of the second half to make it 3-0 on aggregate, and we can just cruise through to full time. What I fear is an early Atalanta strike, and then the nerves really will be jangling. I want us to be composed. I want us to be relatively solid. I don't want us to be too gung-ho, and I don't want us to give away any ridiculous goals that you fear that they might be coming in Football Manager. We have got a kick-off highlight that gets Rassanias free down the left. Unfortunately, the ball runs out of play. It's quite the arena Atalanta have got, by the way. Another great night in Europe for Europa. And we've managed to navigate the first 10 minutes without giving away a shot to Atalanta. So that is at least an encouraging start. We've had one shot each. Now Atalanta are starting to get into the game a little bit. Having a look at some of these other results as well. Borussia Dortmund were down from the first leg. They're ahead on the night tonight. And we're on 20 minutes. And we're coming forward with the ball. Cordoba. It's pretty slow. It's pretty patient build-up. We've gone back to our defence and we're building up again. And then we start to try and press forward with more urgency and we just give the ball away. Now Jefferson's raiding down the right for them. He's got 2 chances of a cross. And a shot stings the palms of Barrosi, and that's exactly the kind of chance we want to try and avoid. One that we help craft for the opposition by giving away possession. Koulibaly, that's a little bit more composed. He heads it back to Barrosi. He gets it out to Rassanias. And now we can build again. Dybala. Rosanas moving us up the pitch. 30 minutes gone in the game. I did say I would take 0-0 at half-time. I still would, but if we want to go in 1-0 up, well, I'm not going to complain. Milanese. Rosa, he's in. I think he's going to need support because he's gone very wide. He's gone a long way back. Milanese gets the ball again. All right, we're going down the other flank this time. Samau gets the ball in. Milanese. Plus an effort at goal, not within a country mile of scoring. And now the highlights are starting to come a little bit more regularly, aren't they? Atalanta coming forward now. 32 minutes on the clock. And this looks like a decent chance for them. In fact, they have got in and Barossi saved us for a settled second time. And I think we just need to settle down a little bit. Maybe time for a shout. They're not playing well, but I'm going to encourage them anyway. Was that the right call? Not really sure that it was. But we're in again. 35 minutes now, and McComb's in. Can he show a bit of composure? He can't. He slashes an effort wide of the goal. And we've looked a little bit ragged, I think, haven't we? 5 shots on target for Atalanta. We have nursed it through to half-time or level. If it continues like this, we'll get through. It's hardly been impressive. Could we try and put in a stronger second half performance and qualify for the last 8? So no changes made at half-time, but we have got a couple of pretty squiffy performances, including Paulo Dybala. We gave him the hopeful build-up. He's not delivered in the first half. Has he got something up his sleeve in the second half? Honestly, I doubt it. He's down to 6.4, 6.5 as his average rating, as we require Barossi to keep us level on the night again. We've got more poor performances. We highlighted Rosanas playing as a left-back because we don't have any decent performances from left-back. And he's throwing in a 6.5 of his own. It's a cursed position. Ever since we took charge of Europa 8 seasons or so ago. And I think when we get to the hour mark, we might need to make a little substitution because I'm fearful there's a sting in the last 30 minutes of this tale. So Dybala has come off. Rosanas has come off. I tell you, Brendan McComb could come off as well. He is having a poor night. Down on a 6.4. But we've now got ourselves a corner. We've thrown it into the box. I think we've hit the bar. Rosa struck it home. The referee is having a look at it. Rosa may have been stood in an offside position here. If this goes in with 20 minutes to go, I think we could say we're through. Disallowed, and it's still in the balance. It's been awarded. I thought he'd strayed into an offside position. But he had not. In fact, he did have a couple of men in front of him, and he has fired it into the goal. And at 3-0 up, we've got to be there, haven't we? 20 minutes to go. I've dropped the mentality down to balanced. We could just see out the next 10 minutes of this game. I think we're going to call it and say we're there. McComb's managed to wriggle past a challenge, giving it back to Cordoba to Diego Rosa, and we're coming forward again. Milanese, he needs a little bit of support. You can see how deep our fullbacks are. They're not playing as wing-backs. I've downgraded them to fullbacks just to try and give us a little bit more solidity. And I think now we are definitely through. We brought on Rossi for Dybala. When either of them start, they don't play great. They're better when they're coming off the bench, and so it's proved tonight. Rossi's got in at the back post. Deep cross from Samau. It's a good header. And now I think we have the luxury of making our final change, being 4-0 up on aggregate. And let's just see if we can just breeze through the end of this game with no bookings. Was Diego Rosa one of the players that was already on a booking for us? Can't quite remember. We don't want any more before the end of the game, as I think we are going to be going into the last 8, well, with a chance of making a little bit of history. Imagine we could take Europa into the final 4 of a European competition. That would be a pretty neat achievement. Let's see who we've got, not only in the next round, but in the semi-final as well. Okay, it's draw time. Let's have a look at the teams that are going to go into it then. We've got Arsenal, we've got Porto, we've got Leicester, and we've got Sporting Club, along with ourselves, Lazio, Lyon, and Stuttgart. Who were the teams to fear in that draw? Probably the Premier League teams of Leicester and Arsenal. Maybe FC Porto as well. Let's have a look who we are going to get. Porto are the first out of the hat. They've got Lazio, having beaten Atalanta and Napoli. I'd have fancied our chances against Lazio, but it's not to be. Arsenal, I think, is the one that I'd most like to avoid. And they've been drawn against Lyon. So we've got Stuttgart, Leicester or Sporting Club from Portugal left to go. Sporting, I'd probably take as a draw. But it's not to be. Instead, we've been drawn against Stuttgart. Let's have a little look at how Stuttgart are doing. 11th in the Bundesliga. Possibly not the worst draw that we could have had, but there's a lot of money sloshing around in Bundesliga. So they might still have a good squad. But if we bounce into the semi-final draw as well, we can see who the winner of our tie with Stuttgart is going to face in the semi. So it's Arsenal or Lyon. I reckon this is the side of the draw I want to avoid, but it is not to be. So if we can manage to beat Stuttgart, it will be Lyon, probably Arsenal, in a semi-final. So you know what we're coming back for next week. It's going to be us against Stuttgart in the last 8 of the Europa League, with a chance to take on either Lyon or Arsenal in the final 4.